Hello distinction students, this is your tutor Miss Zulu. Welcome to today's commerce lesson where we're going to look at production, the different types of production and the stages of production. But before I get into that, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more sessions. So what is production? Production is the provision of goods and services in order to satisfy human wants and needs. So in the previous session, we discussed what human wants and needs are. While we said human needs are things that you cannot do without, while human wants are things that you can do without. So it involves the extraction of raw materials the way nature has provided them. It also involves the processing of raw materials into finished or semi-finished goods. Production also involves the distribution of goods and services to areas where they are needed using trade or aids to trade, and direct services as well provided by personnel such as doctors, nurses, teachers, and police. So now we look at the two different types of production. There are two different types of production, namely direct and indirect production. So what is direct production? Direct production is the provision of goods and services on a small scale, and it's meant for one's own use. So an example I can give here is of a subsistence farmer. A subsistence farmer grows crops or keeps livestock for his own use. It is done on substances levels without need of exchange or trade. It directly satisfies one's needs. Now we look at indirect production. Indirect production is the provision of goods and services on a large scale and is meant for sale. So an example I'll give here is of a commercial farmer. A commercial farmer grows crops and keeps livestock for sale. It involves the trading of what has been processed. Now we look at the stages of production. The first one is the primary production, which is the extraction of raw materials the way they are provided. So, an example I will give on primary production is mining of raw materials from the ground, or I can say cutting of trees in the forest for lumbering purposes. Now we look at secondary production. This is the processing of raw materials into finished or semi-finished goods involving the manufacturing and the construction of industry. So here I would give an example of the process of making bread using wheat as a raw material, or the process of trees which are cut into timber and later on made as furniture, right? So the other one I'll talk about is the tertiary production. This is the distribution of goods and services to areas where they are needed with the help of commerce. So here I'll talk about the direct services, where I talked about the personnel such as the doctors, the teachers, the nurses. Okay, so now we look at the factors of production. What are factors of production? These are resources or inputs that must be available before any provision of goods and services can take place. So we have land, we have labor, we have capital, we have enterprise, which is also known as organization, right? So now we look at them in details. So we have land. These are all natural resources found on earth and underground, such as fish in water, wild animals, mineral, wealth. People who provide land are known as landlords. So these landlords receive rent as their reward. We look at labor. These are human efforts used in the production of goods and services. Those who provide labor are known or are called workers. It involves manual, or we can say physical, and mental skilled efforts. So these workers receive a salary or wage as a reward. We look at capital. So this is any resource used to start up a business. It includes money, raw materials, building, or machinery. So people who provide capital are called capitalists, and the reward is interest. We look at enterprise or organization. So this is the ability by which the owner organizes the business. It involves making decisions for the business, such as when you want to start a business, you need to know your location and the capital that you have. So people who make these decisions are known as entrepreneurs or organizers. So entrepreneurs receive profit as their reward for organizing the business well. Now we look at specialization. So what is specialization? Specialization is the concentration of work on a particular aspect. So specialization takes place in various forms, such as we have specialization individual occupation, such as doctors, teachers, or accountants. We have specialization by process or division of what? Labor. We also have specialization by region. So what I mean by specialization by region, this one occurs when a particular region in a country devotes itself in producing a certain type of product which is used by the whole country. When we talk about specialization by nation, we are talking about a particular country which devotes itself in producing a certain type of products which is used by the country or other countries. When we talk about specialization by product, we simply mean when the business focuses their marketing or branding efforts on a specific product. Now we look at the advantages of specialization. So when you look at the advantages of specialization, it's less time consuming. That's the first point. The second one, it has better quality of products. Why? Because your concentration is on this one particular product, right? Then the other one is mass production on goods and services, saving of tools and equipment, because you are dealing with one particular product and you know the particular products or raw materials they're supposed to use or tools that you're supposed to use for that particular product that you make, right? Skills in particular fields develop. Concentration on work increases. Training is quicker as jobs are easy to learn because you are in a specified field. You only deal with one particular product and it's very easy to get trained because every single day you deal with the same thing, right? Everyday worker's ability is easy. Like every worker's ability is easy because you know to say when I go in my field, I'm supposed to only do this. Maybe I'm only supposed to operate using this particular machine, right? Now we look at the disadvantages of specialization. So work becomes boring. So what do I mean? Because you know every single day you go through the same routine, nothing changes because it's one particular product all the time. Independency increases. So what do I mean? Meaning there'll be specific people that you would depend on for this particular product, right? Machinery replaces labor. So in a situation where you know there's a particular machine, for instance, that makes milk. So meaning there's a machine, so you probably need one worker or two, and you don't need a lot of workers to work that product out because the machines are there to do all the work, right? Demotivated staff. So when something changes at your workplace, right, you become demotivated. So now we look at how and why specialization depends on trade. So specialization causes people not to be self-sufficient. What do I mean? What is self-sufficient? So this is when you're able to maintain yourself without needing the aids of other people. Like you're capable of providing your own needs, right? It causes specialists to always depend on others for goods and services they cannot provide for themselves. So if you're in a particular field, there are certain things that you cannot do. There are certain things you cannot provide on your own. You need somebody else to provide those things for you. To obtain these goods, specialists sell what they are able to produce in order to get money. So let's say those who are specialized in carpentry, right? So they make furniture and sell in order to get money to use them for other things that they can't provide on their own. Trade is therefore causes for both consequences of specialization. Now we look at chain of distribution and production. So What is chain of distribution? Chain of distribution are different routes that goods travel from manufacturer through the wholesale and retailer to customer. And chain to production are different stages a raw material undergoes before it becomes a finished goods. Thank you for watching my session. For more sessions, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel.